Chinelo Adora Emeghara Esquire as the Clerk/Head, Legislative Service of Imo State House of Assembly, Owerri. She studied law at the Rivers State University of Science and Technology, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, between 1984 and 1988, and was called to the Nigerian bar in 1989. She has so far put in 35 years of dedicated service at the bar. After her youth service program, she worked at the defunct Commercial Bank of Africa, Lagos, from 1990 to 1994 before relocating to Owerri and joining the Imo State Ministry of Justice in 1995 as a state counsel.
My name, first of all, is Chinelo Adora Emeghara. I am a lawyer by training. I studied at Rivers State University. I graduated in 1988 and was called to the bar in 1989. Right after my youth corps, I worked in a bank. Bank has shut down now. Commercial Bank of Africa. I was there for about 5 years. Then I got married and had to come down to Imo State to live with my husband. So I joined the Imo State Civil Service after then. In 1995, Then 1999, I was seconded to the House of Assembly as a legislative draftsman. So I've been in the House of Assembly since then, rose through the ranks, became Director of Legal Services, became Deputy Clerk Legal, and then was made the Clerk and Head of Legislative Services in Imo State. Since I can remember, I've always wanted to be a lawyer because I had an auntie, my mom's younger sister. She's late now, but before she died, she had retired as a Justice of the Court of Appeal. But I grew up seeing her, the way she used to dress, how she used to carry herself. So I always admired her, and I was always with her. During holidays, my parents would send me to her house because I always told them I wanted to be like Auntie C. There was no other choice. It was what I grew up seeing and what I wanted to be. So largely, my auntie inspired me to read law.
In her 25 years service at the Imo State House of Assembly, she has risen through the ranks to become Deputy Director, Legal, Director, Legal Department, Deputy Clerk, Legal, Acting Clerk of the House before being appointed the Substantive Clerk of the House of Assembly by the Imo State House of Assembly Service Commission in 2019. The first ever female to hold such position in the history of Imo State House of Assembly.
It's been a wonderful experience, challenging, daunting, but I don't really do my work looking at whether I'm a woman or I'm not a woman. I just want to get things done. I try to make people around me know that I don't want to be limited by my sex. I would say it's been a very lovely experience. I haven't had so many challenges like, being challenged because I'm a woman in this position. I don't think so. Initially, yes. When I had not become the clerk, because in Imo State, I am the first woman to become the clerk of the house. So before then, before I was appointed, yes, there were a lot of doubts. Will a woman be able to carry out the responsibilities of a clerk and all that? But like I've been in this house, like I told you earlier, since 1999, and I've watched clerks come, I've watched clerks go, and I didn't think there was anything extraordinary that I couldn't do. So I came with that in my mind, and I think we just get the job done without looking at whether anybody is a woman or not. at the beginning, when it was obvious that the position was going to be vacant, there were a lot of speculations because a lot of people, by seniority, at the time the position was vacant, I was the most senior in the House of Assembly. The only challenge, what people were looking at then, because we have a law in the House of Assembly which deals with appointment of House of Assembly Service Commission law. In there we have the procedure for appointment of a clerk and all that. I qualified in all aspects, but all they were worried about was that since the inception of the house, there hadn't been any woman. Was she going to be able to do it? Wasn't she going to be able to do it? While I was acting, I had a few challenges. Sometimes we would be having plenary sessions and some people would just go to the generator, switch it off, just to make me appear incompetent. It happened a couple of times, and luckily I had a very strong support base here. So they nipped that in the bud because they found out what was happening. And because maybe if it was a man, the person would go to the generator house and go and find out what was happening. But we managed to find out what was going on and then made a few changes. And then, because I think at the time I was in the acting appointment, they wanted to find out if I could, carry on with the responsibility. Just those initial sabotage from people, not just, I don't think, looking back now, it wasn't really that much of a challenge. I just think it was people who were not interested in me being the clerk, not necessarily because I'm a woman, but because they didn't want me to occupy the position. But again, if they do that and each time plenary is going on, I am the one saddled with the administrative responsibilities here. I have to get things work, get the sittings prepared. So if every time you're having sitting, the light keeps going off, of course, after a while, they are going to be looked at as being incompetent. So, but we just made a few changes and then we didn't have those experiences anymore. It was just at that beginning that people were scared or skeptical. We haven't had a woman here as the clerk of the house. How is she going to cope and all that? But after those initial challenges, I haven't had any issues. One, the most important is that I've learned to stop being impulsive. Naturally, I'm a very impulsive person, but I've learned that there are always two sides or many sides to a story. So now I'm able to sit down, analyze situations better, and then think things through before making some critical decisions, because the position I occupy is a bit sensitive. I work with 27 members right now. Like, I'm the only woman here now. All the members are male. So I have learned to be a bit more patient, tolerant, and be open-minded to look at all sides of an issue before arriving at a decision. I think that is the most important lesson I've learned. The one that I think is most important is that I've managed to foster unity amongst my staff. Before I became the clerk, this place was full of, amongst the staff now, was full of, we had a lot of cliques, we had a lot of groups. People were so bitter, there was a lot of rancor. And I came here, I met the place totally polarized, but I think my biggest achievement is that I've managed to bring almost everybody under one umbrella, like give everybody a sense of belonging. So now we don't have those groups and cliques anymore. Yeah, because there's really some people used to feel marginalized and all that. But I know that you cannot get everybody 100%, but I would say that I have 90% of the staff under one umbrella and everybody's cooperating with the other. Another thing is, prior to when I became the clerk, we didn't have a lot of staff development training. In fact, throughout the period before I even became we didn't used to go for trainings and all that. But I've managed to, because after I became the clerk, and sometimes we have programs at National Assembly and all that, I went there and found out that we were lagging behind in a lot of things. People were now using very high-tech equipment and all that. So I came back and we devised a way of sending at least most of the management staff on career development programs, so that we could be abreast with what is going on in other houses of assemblies and all that. So I would say that is another achievement. There's no management staff here that has not undergone one kind of training or the other, career development. And then we've managed to give the staff a very conducive environment to work in. Before now, this House of Assembly was in shambles. I am not taking credit for it because I didn't do the renovation, but I'm happy it was done in my tenure. The governor did this place and gave us a masterpiece. So you see staff now, even sometimes it's 6 o'clock, they don't even want to go home. While before, because everywhere was so uncomfortable, they didn't even have equipment to work with. But now, the assembly complex, I can tell you, is one of the best in Nigeria. I would say it's largely participative, in the sense that I believe in open communication. I believe in involving here I have a management team. So I like us to take decisions together. So I don't want to be so autocratic that every decision I take on my own. No. So I would describe it as largely participative. At the same time, there are some situations that come up and I use like a reward mechanism. If I feel it would bring results faster, I resort to that. So I'm also flexible according to what situation that arises.
Chinelo Adora Emeghara, Esquire, has through her civil service career set a bar of achievement which many women in Imo State in particular and Nigeria in general will strive to achieve. She's a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, the International Federation of Women Lawyers, African Women Lawyers Association, and other professional bodies. She's a devout Catholic and presently holds the position of treasurer and member of the chaplaincy of Council of St. Joseph, the Walker Catholic Chaplaincy, IMSU, Owerri.
One, like I said, like in this environment, I work with politicians. So it's not the normal civil service setting. So one is talking less. you find out that if you work in a largely political environment and you're given to making careless statements, you get into trouble. So my strategy in working with the politicians that I work with is to listen, talk less, listen more, and then advise them the best way that I can. Because most of them I've done, since I became the clerk, I've inaugurated 2 houses. So most times I'm here when the members come in. A lot of them come in as greenhorns. So you have to put them through. But at the same time, you realize that I am still under them. So you don't make it so obvious or try to be so make them feel as if they are little or something like that. So you adopt a strategy that you won't appear to be so autocratic and become a put-off to the people you're trying to mentor or put through in their work. My job as a wife and mother has never affected my responsibilities in the office. So it just takes planning. If you plan yourself well, there will be no conflict. So before you come to work, you do what you're supposed to do at home, and take care of your home, and then come home, when you come to work, you face the work you came to do, and then you go home. I've always planned my life and my work. I started working before I had children. When the children came, I know my children never suffered from lack of motherly care or something like that. So it's just planning. Anybody can. God made us and equipped us with that gift. So any woman who has those conflicts obviously has not planned his or her life well. So what I do is, when I get home, I take care of the home front. I make sure everything is taken care of. When I come to the office, I face my job, and then everything works out. Other than the initial time before I became the substantive clerk, I have not had any challenge. I haven't had any challenge, because I have not given room for that. I get the job done. So you cannot say because Chinelo is a woman, she didn't do this or do that. It was just at the beginning. Again, because no woman had occupied that position in the state, and people were worried. But after I was able to allay their fears, I have not suffered any gender-based violence. Well, the advice is to, first of all, for that position you're aspiring to get to, make sure you're well equipped for the job. You don't aspire to a position when you don't know the job, when you're not conversant with what your responsibilities are like. So I see some women, you just want to be called a particular name, you want to get to that position, but then you cannot even impart knowledge to people under you. The people under you will come to you for advice about how to go about a particular issue, and you don't have any idea. it makes them look down on you. So my advice is, before you aspire to get to any leadership position, make sure you are well equipped, both academically and experience-wise. Make sure you are prepared, you're mentally prepared for the job you're going to. Like, let me just give an example of this job that I'm doing now. It's a very tasking job. And for anybody who is not mentally prepared, you might have the experience, yes. First of all, you need that experience. But then, if you are not mentally prepared for the challenges you might meet, you won't be able to handle the position. So first of all is to, or most important, make sure you have the right and requisite qualifications, you have the experience, and you are mentally prepared for the job or the position you're aspiring to. Well, Nigerian Women Trust Fund, I read up a bit about the NGO. I think I really appreciate and commend you for trying to ensure that women's voices are heard and that women are included in positions of authority and in decision making. I wish and pray you continue with the tempo of activism, because if it is sustained, before long, the objective, what I saw was the objective of the NGO will be achieved. We already have this bill now at the National Assembly, which you're in the forerunner of having it being passed and all that. So I'll just say, continue with the level of activism you're doing now, and I know that before long, women will be in all positions or decision-making positions.